Alrighty, y'all. So don't mind the mess of a room, but it's time that I give my honest thoughts about the summer Sakura in Nikke. Right? Obviously, there's going to be more to my discussion about Sakura in the next honest thoughts I do, which would actually be about Rosanna. So stay tuned for that, of course. But Sakura is not a bad character or anything like that. I do just think we have not seen her full potential, and it sounds weird to say that, right? It really, I don't really like that narrative, but we haven't seen her full potential until Rosanna comes out, right? It's kind of like the same thing with bunny girls and schoolgirls and stuff like that, right? These characters are just clearly meant to be with each other, Rosanna and Sakura, and it's just we just have to wait for Rosanna to drop to really see what she's going to be able to do for Sakura and then just everybody else on the team as well. Now, I do think Sakura is a very, very unique character. There are a lot of things I do like, a lot of things I quite don't like. And yeah, I mean, let's talk about it. First things first, do you need dupes for this character or anything like that? I mean, not necessarily, right? I probably wouldn't tell you to go for dupes just because you need to go for another character, right? You were better off getting one copy of Sakura and Rosanna each rather than getting dupes of Sakura, right? So I would probably tell you to just go chase the Rosanna rather than trying to go for dupes for this character. I know she's limited, so it's kind of like it's like your only one and only chance really until next year. So that's why people would want to go for dupes, but in reality, just go for Rosanna. Now, when it comes to her kit, I do like it. I think her kit's quite cool, right? I like this full glory. I like from the beginning of the battle, you have the Sakura petals up the entire time for 15 seconds, and you can increase the duration by, you know, destroying enemy with parts and stuff like that. Now, the thing is, this is a very niche. Like, if you were to throw the word niche on a character, the word niche would go to this character, because this is not all bosses have parts, and even for bosses that do have parts, they either have a little and don't regenerate, or they have a little and take very long to regenerate, or they have a little but is very tanky and sturdy, or they have a lot and they just don't regenerate. Well, I want to say every boss technically should regenerate. Like, let's keep it a buck. Every boss will regenerate their parts, but in the content we have now, like, this character should just be perfect for Interception EX. If not, I don't understand why. What's the point of this, right? But I don't really like how the duration increase is based on the enemy parts, just because it's like her burst skill is like an AoE type thing, right? So it kind of gives that impression that the perfect setup would be like a boss that had easy parts to break and regenerated quickly, so that you can have your duration up the entire time, and then have like mobs. Like, I guess that's like the kind of dream fight you want to be doing to get her quote unquote best potential. That's what it seems like, at least. But she is really good against mobs, like just mobs alone. She's really good against bosses, just bosses alone. She's a really good character overall, right? Her damage isn't as, I don't want to say her damage isn't as good, but obviously her damage isn't okay. I want to say, when I read it first, I thought this effect right here, I thought the attack, when it was spreading to 10 units, I thought it was going to be this effect, the Sakura petals that was getting moved around, right? I guess it's just this one that got moved around. So it's not this skill, the full glory that gets like put on each enemy. It's the burst skill with the 27% final attack and sustained damage every 1 up to 10, right? Yeah, basically that's what it is. So that's why it's cool, a lot less, right? I guess when we all read it, we all thought that she was gonna do well. I didn't actually say this, but people thought that she was going to you know, hit harder than Scar. I think I did say that, right? Chat, you guys correct me. I don't know, did I say she might hit harder than Summer and East and Scarlet? If I did, let me know. I don't remember. I think I did. I don't know. I don't know. I think I did. I'm not really percent sure, but I did think that this effect right here was going to go to 10 enemies, and that would have easily made her insane. Because this effect right here, if we even go into the showcase right now, right, we don't even have to go into like a major showcase. I can just show you guys, right? If we go to the Union, right, and we just fight one enemy, yada yada yada. Let's go to Iron or whatever. We can go. Okay, it's fine. Let's go here. And we just remove all these enemies and we just go in there. We can go in like scope lock. We don't even need the scope lock. Let's just go in there, right? You're gonna see that that second effect of hers really does do a lot of damage, right? For what it is, it does a lot of damage. So if I just don't even attack, you could just see it's doing some damage, the overtime damage, 141 or 148, 148, and that's just hitting like that for 15 seconds, right? And if I have her with characters like Crown, Naga, or anybody who's buffing up my overall damage, right, that number is getting increased, right? That number is getting increased, and then the only thing is you have to wait 15 seconds to get it back, unless you're again fighting enemies with parts to increase the duration. So it's a bit weird. It's a bit wonky, but at the same time, it's like I understand what they were going with this character, right? If they just made it that she increased duration by killing mobs, then she'd be very, very broken. So I guess parts is fine. All I would have changed really though is either make it that this attack spread is going to all these other enemies, but based on the full glory of full petals, or I would have just increased the percentage of this by a higher amount, right? Because some of these enemies are already like they have no HP already, and then two, it's like they might just be dead already from something else. I don't know. So I personally though, I would have just made this maybe a bit higher. Probably changed the way it was based off enemy parts. I mean, I know she's meant for bosses clearly, but not necessarily meant for bosses. She's just best against bosses, but I would have liked it to be something else maybe, especially with since everybody or every enemy that has parts is quite different, right? The attack damage buff, I mean, I like it, right? You just get it for it. Attack damage buff, you just get it for free every other 15 seconds on top of, again, a lot of these damaging support characters. So there is that, right? We just need to literally wait for Rosanna, right? When Rosanna comes out, which should be in a few days, she will be her best partner right here. Right, because Rosanna is going to help her a lot in all these aspects, right? Damage taken increase, sustained damage increase, that's going to be big, right? Damage to parts, this is one big thing that is going to be so helpful for Sakura and her entire team, because it just takes an ally to destroy parts, right? Some of these parts are very tanky, so to have that additional, or to have that, I guess, 15 seconds, right? To have these like damage part just proccing is very good. To have the attack buff is really helpful. The sustain, like the damage from Rosanna, I don't really think is all that crazy, but the sustain damage buff, damage taken buff, and then obviously damage increase to parts, this is what Sakura needs for her to be very, very good. So you really do need Rosanna, but we have to wait and see. When Rosanna comes out, we can test that. But I do think she's good. I think her damage output is great. I think all that, these things about Sakura is great. I would just really say that like you just need Rosanna. So don't go for dupes until you get Rosanna. Then by all means do whatever you want to do, but I would say snag a copy of Rosanna, right? But these are my little honest thoughts about the character after using her and stuff like that. Pretty good though, pretty good. By herself, I wouldn't use her by herself, me personally. Like I have done for the showcases, but I'm not using this character unless I have Rosanna personally. But you guys let me know what you think. It's your boy Zxous, and I'm out. Peace.